Welcome to today's episode. We have continuously been seeing how to become productive, especially when you're a mother. We play a lot of different roles, and it is quite important for us to be on the productive side so that our energy, brain power, mind, and soul is not drained. We have been continuously seeing a lot of topics, and it is branching out. There are still some more few interesting topics which are very, very deep, which is lined up. We initially started off with time management, and then we went to focus and concentration. Under the focus, we saw deep focus, and today we're going to complete the distractions topic, where we are seeing once again we are reviewing a book called Indistractable, how to become indistractable. And the reason why we are doing this is two main objectives. One, depending on whatever role you are in, whether you're a working mother or you're a homemaker or you're just married, another reason why we are doing this as a community call, because when we come in and when we share our experiences and insights and what's working well for us and what is not working for us, it could be definitely be an insight for somebody who's just starting or who's already got lost. They don't know, what went wrong, or somebody who's on the line and who's on the, either on the work stream or a business stream. They want to continue, but they still have some self-doubt, some distractions coming into your life, where they do not know how to get rid of it. So all these can be a helping stones for people. That is the reason we all get together, and when it is happening live, it is all the more evident that when we share, when it's a recording, it becomes yet another recording. It's going to be under your shelf, and we may hardly even notice. But when it is a live experience, that is when you will see the interactions happening, and you will know that you're not alone. So this is one main reason that we started off this community call 1.5 years back. Okay, I would really appreciate that you coming here on a Saturday morning. Is definitely greatly appreciated, because you could be doing many things. You could be relaxing with your family, or taking out your children for either extra classes or outside. But you're still part of this calls. Either you're on the live call or you're watching the recording. It's truly appreciable. That shows that you care and concern of your own development, and you want to do something for yourself and for your family. Okay, I'm going to quickly start sharing my screen. Just let me know if you're able to see my screen. Okay. All right. So before we get into this topic of, usually I share a lot of, details about the format of the call and then the code of honor as to why did we start doing what we are doing right now. So what is it in for you? Since I've been repeating this week after week, and it is important to reinstate the objective of this community calls, the intention of it, so that we're all aligned with the same energy level, same intentions. And when it is given in a structured format, right, it is all the more easier for us to, just tune in. Okay, so the format of this calls will be, it's a continuous learning format where it will happen. I'll just mark the calendar for next 1 year. However, if there is any break in between, we're all human beings. I also have a family, and if there is any emergency or if there is any family vacations, we might have to skip. But I'll make sure, that's my commitment, that I come and see you guys on every Saturday. If there is, other than the emergency factors, I don't see anything which is going to stop me learning and stop me, interacting with you. And it's going to be 90 minutes weekly, and it is going to continuously happen. Totally, if you see, at least for next 1 year, if you're, falling part of all these calls, minimum at least 78 hours of learning that you're doing, just at no cost, right? That is the reason it is important to grab these opportunities. And since we started doing many topics, right? We branched out initially into parenting, neighborhood, security, bullying, so many topics, like including the recipes. Like we went deep dive into, what kind of a lunchbox and what kind of a recipes that we can share and all that. But eventually what happens is everything that we spoke was about tools and hacks. But then principally, again, we are going back to the same problem. So the root cause was not on the surface of how you handle on the strategies as to how you run your day, but even you need to see why you're not able to achieve your goal. Your goal can be one that you want to be consistent, or you want to be disciplined, or you want to contribute to your family, or you want to lose your weight, or you want to, start working, anything and everything that you're not able to fulfill. That is the gap that we are right now addressing. So that's when we took a lot of feedback, and based on the feedback, we moved into self-development topics like this, especially for moms, because I'm a mom myself, although I'm into online business, knowledge sharing business. But my first role priority is being a mother and a wife. And then I extend this to fulfill my own passion, and extending my arms to people out there, to reach out to people who needs that kind of a help. Okay, whatever problems I went through, I don't want other moms to go through, and that is the reason that I'm on a mission to help 1 lakh women to achieve that kind of a freedom, necessarily from time, stress, and in case you are able to monetize your talents, nothing like it. You can still make a lot of money right there sitting at your feet. So I'm going to be teaching 2 subjects. Going forward, I will also give you the introduction when we start with the code of honor as to why I'm doing what I'm doing and what is it I'm actually teaching. So emotional intelligence and digital entrepreneurship is some, these 2 are the big subjects. But then under that, we're going to bifurcate all that topics. We're going to make it more structured and pull out only those topics which are relevant and useful for moms like you and me. Okay. This is going to happen in a peer learning format. As long as it is live, it is wonderful to have an assessment, self-assessment, and also a group assessment. In case you're not able to be part of this, it's absolutely fine. You can always watch the recording. And the structure is simple, that we will allow any concepts like this to have a awareness first, that is to discuss about definition, principles, theory, science behind it, so that we have enough backup. And then we move on to making better choices. That is how to manage. Now that we are aware of what has been, the knowledge is gained, you cannot unsee or undo it. Right now, what we have to do is, how do we apply in life? If you're not able to take actions, that is, it could be even a small thing that after you listen to this entire call and you are thinking, okay, I'm not like this. Suppose I start working on these 2 areas, just 1 or 2 areas. What would that be? You go back and apply it on the 24 hours format, or you want to do it, on a 7 days format. You see how it is helping you. And then accordingly, you make your choice. Now, that choice is going to be an informed choice where you cannot go wrong. Of course, based on your capacity and the factors around you, you may have a trial and error, but then it is an informed decision. I'm telling you, nowhere in the world, there are 2 expensive things in life for us. One is time. Another one is informed decisions. You know why? Because it saves a lot of effort and money and time, energy, everything. Suppose somebody is saying, you may be seeing in the group that we have, if you have any questions, you post and you see how many responses you get. Imagine if you're an alone person, all we will end up doing is only asking Google or ChatGPT. Now, instead of that, you're asking real-time people on the group and you get multiple perspectives. Now, don't you think instead of you rounding off with 1 or 2 options only, suppose you go to a shop to buy a mobile, would you be stopping just to, would you be happy if he just shows 1 or 2 of those options? No, right? You would like to see and explore a lot of options with a lot of features in it. Similarly, when you have those options, when you have that kind of an information and awareness, then your choice is becoming an informed decision. And that can, 90% will definitely be supportive in your journey. And after you get practicing, getting used to taking almost the right kind of, we may not be perfect, but appropriate decisions for yourself and for your family around, then you are a driven person who will be naturally getting results is a natural consequences for you. Now you see how you've transitioned. Then you are becoming natural leader. So whether it is your family or running a maybe at your workplace or a smaller community like this, you will eventually run it successfully. Okay. Initially, it may not be a big thing, but then it is easier for you. So that essentially means you're productive at what you're doing. Okay. So as I said, we started off looking self-development as main aim of this. So we will, under awareness, we will see definition, myth, mistakes, advantage, disadvantages, styles. We did a lot of assessments our own selves. Whenever there is a topic of time management came and then productivity came, we also will see a lot of other assessments when we bring into a lot of other topics where you will, when I showcase these types are existing in the world, you may want to see how it is showcasing in your life. So you may want to reflect and assess. So we will do that, and then we will pick up theories, what is available in the world in respect to many industries, and then we will also catch up with what successful people are doing. We don't want to waste time. Like as I said, time is an expensive asset for us. Am I right? More than any luxury materials, time is essential for us. So we might want to look at the successful people, and if it's already working for somebody and they're already successful in that, we might want to just adapt it. Okay, that's a smart thing. Now after that, we will also see a science backup. Now, after knowing all this, all you have to do is start doing it. And for that, you need to be capable. So unless you have a skill and competency for you to work on it, it's a talent, right? It's a talent, and the resources combined together gives you that skill. And all you have to do is, like, once you have your head and heart ready, all you have to do is take your hands and work on it. Okay. And then we will see how we can take this into a beautiful direction, for which you need to have a goals. Your why should be clear, why you're doing what you're doing should be clear. And then we will do some book review anyway we are doing based on the topics. I may not be, say, I'm a person who wants it to be condensed. because for me, freedom from time is the first thing. So I will not be able to waste my time going everywhere, but instead, I would concise as to what is important for me at this point of time, and how does it important for people surrounded to me. So these two are the only things that I will take into consideration. Accordingly, I will choose the books, right? And we will do a quick review on it. We'll pick up those important points, and then we will start discussing on it. If you may have heard a club, book clubs and other things, they will go detailed in terms of reading a page by page and then calling out for interpretations. But this won't be like that. Then we will find the synergy as to how it is all working out for us in our general life and in business or work, whichever domain you are in. Okay. Now, how does it help you? You will have your, how are you making use of it? First of all, participate, learn and reflect, and you're going to apply, improve based on that, and take it for your career enhancement or business or in general life. So it's going to definitely give you a great kickstart. Somebody who has a problem in terms of maintaining consistency or discipline, this is a great kickstart, right? Because it's almost every other Saturday we are meeting. So it is a good place to, get rid of your shyness and then see, you may want to see other people, what is the reason for them to show? Or what is the reason for them to ask questions? Or what is the reason for them to share their learnings in the group? So there's something working out for them. So thereby you will build your awareness and you're going to cultivate great habits. Building consistency and confidence is the natural consequence. And we are developing a learning culture, right? That is the reason we go through Code of Honor each and every week before we start. And thereby you will also see your growth naturally happening. And what transformation can you expect out of this is you are going to focus great on, developing your great character for yourself, because every Saturday that you're here, okay, coming on time or maybe a few minutes late, but at least you're showing up. That itself shows your family that you're serious about something. You have something to work on Saturday mornings. So they're going to look up at you at a different level. Now, imagine if it's going to be a continuous habit. Won't they be able to remind you? That's exactly what is happening in my family. My child reminds me, okay, Ma, it's a Saturday tomorrow. Aren't you not ready? Or if it's a Saturday morning, she'll say, okay, Ma, it's getting late, so you better buckle up. And similarly with my spouse, he takes care of those 4 hours that I want to prepare for it, or I want to deliver the program, or even after that. So he cooperates that, those missing time. So, that's how bonding happens too. So we know each other's priorities and we help each other. So this is an indication, this is a message that you're giving to your family as well. Okay, that's a great transformation by itself, and you're going to be knowing your strength and working on it. That's an education. So suppose we know our strength and areas of development way before in our school days. I have never seen any school been doing SWOT analysis, like what is your strength, weakness, opportunity, threat at all. We never did anything other than academics. That's a poor thing, right? So when we had known our strength and area development, maybe our career would have also been designed very well at that time itself. Imagine how much time we have lost. How much money and effort, right? Learning right stuffs from right person is equally important, because Google has it all, YouTube has it all. But are you able to go through everything and read? That is the reason learning has to be structured. And when it is rendered by the right person, because they have gone through it, so they have the authority to say what they're saying. You know why? Because they've gone through the pain and they don't want you to go through it. It's always smarter to learn from others' mistakes, because you don't have 10 lifetimes to do the mistakes and then learn it from that. Am I right? Something deep. Okay, so by attending these calls, you're going to save your time, money, and efforts naturally. Okay, so now what's the code of honor? You got to show up and you got to be on time. That is the reason I said after 5 minutes, I won't be able to admit anybody, because it's going to keep buzzing and then you're going to lose time on it, right? And then the participation is also important. It's okay if you're watching a recording. You may want to share your comments, maybe in the WhatsApp group or under the recording, you will have a comments box. You can share your comments there. The most important thing is go back and reflect. Okay, remember the retention key. You know the key, right? That is 10, 7, 24. So within 10 minutes, if you're able to reflect, then it is wonderful. That is the reason we have a group. So all you have to do is just reinstate whatever your reflection is through words and then post it. That's going to be in your memory within 10 minutes. And then it's actually 10, 24, and 7. It's not the other way. So within 24 hours, you're able to reflect and apply it on your life. That is, again, you're giving a memory, for your physical, mental, and emotional. It is definitely going to help you recall at some point of time. But the best part is you have to apply within 24 hours to see whether it's working or not. And if it's going to be working, you might want to follow that in next 7 days as well. Why not? And if it is working, come back and share what worked for you. Okay, that is going to be a boost for me. And that's how you actually pay forward. And I pay forward to my mentors, whom I have learned all these concepts. Okay, I've been training and coaching myself. I've spent about 12 lakhs till now, in the last 4.5 years. That's a huge money, right? Paying forward for my mentors. I've been only, hanging on with just 1, maximum 2, in different line because I teach 2 different subjects. It takes a lot. And, I pay forward to my mentors wherever it is. Whenever I speak about their concepts or whatever I learn from them, I pay forward by giving them a gratitude. I also do a gratitude exercise every day, right? And on the group, I thank you guys for coming up and showing up. It is equally more important for you to be on track. And for me to be on track, it is important for me to feel that energy as well. Okay. So as a community, we're helping each other to grow. So now you, as a pay forward, activity, you can go back and put it on the group as to how you felt about those learnings and how you felt to be part of this community. Okay. Now, when it comes to productive, how to be productive, we saw the awareness part of it, where we discussed the definition, the measure of it, what are the addictions that is, what are the mistakes that we generally do, and quickly we also saw personality styles. We assessed, and then we jumped on to the skills. Like after awareness, what is it? Like you need to start applying. What are those skills that you need so that you're capable to start applying in your life, to see whether it's working or not, to take that kind of an informed decisions. The very first skill that we saw was time management. We went deep dive into it, the same format, awareness, skill, and direction. And then we slowly moved on to focus. Even under the focus, we saw awareness. Now, under the awareness, we saw deep work. Now, this is for you to develop the deep focus aspect. We saw a book review of Deep Work by Carl Newport. We went deep dive into it, again with the same format, like creating awareness, skills. You may see a lot of hacks, approaches, rules to play based on the books. Okay. Now, we switched on to distractions recently. Now, distractions is again, distractions is not a skill. How to be indistractable is the skill. Now, for that, we started looking at what is the percentage, what is the theory or statistics in the world. 80 to 90% of the world's population lack focus. And it's a dream skill for anybody, right? To have a focus. You may have seen a lot of successful people are able to juggle their life, their business, and everything, handling thousands of people in the organization and also doing a multiple level projects. How? Because the time and focus and attention is very, very important. We're going to go in deep dive into it. Okay. We saw productivity on a larger scale. Under productivity, we saw focus and concentration. And under that, we will see how to be indistractable. And then once you get that skill, we will see how to go to the next level of attention. You see, without attention span, you're not able to focus. There's no concentration at all. Why? Because our attention span is spilled over. Now, once you have the right kind of attention, you're able to focus at least for 10 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes or maximum 1 hour. And then beyond that, if you go, is when you will start applying all your skills. Thereby, you extend that to 2 or 3 hours. Your results will also be, fruitful. Thereby, you can call yourself as productive. Now, being productive or productivity skills is not just like giving it to you in a platter and say, you just do this, it becomes productive. No, there are a lot of layers to it. Okay. And we are looking at the science behind it and art. That is the skills and hacks so that you can apply the science. Now, we're going to deep dive into this. We also saw this in the previous episode, so we will not be going in detail because we need to complete what is left over so that the next week, I'm going to be teaching what I learned, same topic called distractions. And then we spoke about decluttering and, energy audit. So I think this is more relevant to what we are talking right now. So I will be doing that in the next week. So now what we will do is we will quickly cover what this book says and how is it useful. The reason why I picked up this book is this is so very easy to understand and adapt for our lifestyle as a mother, as a working mother. And it is even more important that what kind of internal triggers and external triggers we have as a mother, so that when we remove it, when we know clear distinctions about what we are going through and what is working and what is not working, that is when we can remove it. Elimination requires a lot of awareness first. Okay. So what they say is tractions and distractions. This is the whole crux about this book. That is distractions and tractions. In a world of distractions, there is nobody, literally, including a child who is like 1 or 2 years, till 60, 70, 75, 80. I'm seeing people, even old people, lot of distractions on them. It may not necessarily about one or few distractions, which is commonly available. It could be a lot of reasons. So that is what we saw in the last episode. So we're going to recap what are those distractions? Why are those people or not? I mean, I don't want to exclude myself or I don't want to exclude you. Why are we distracted? Now, if you know the reason why we are distracted and what are the distractions, that is when you can understand whether you can clearly map out whether this is working or not. If it is not working, you're going to eliminate. If it is working, you're going to continue. It is very, very important. You cannot just like that dump everything and then move on. Start something new. Starting something new, it's not possible. There are many areas you need to continue what you do because it is helping you, for which you need to have a clear distinction. Okay, so distraction is actually actions that move us away from what we really want. Traction is actions that move us towards what we really want. You see? So distractions is action that move us away from what we actually want. That is our goals. Tractions is actually moving us towards what we are actually wanting. That is our goals and actions. So what is the opposite of distractions? I was just looking at it. So what distraction thing was new. And of course, it is not new for me because I'm in the personal development for the past 4 or 5 years. So I've heard about this. But in general sense, in Google sense, what is it? So there's no opposite to distractions, okay? It could be assurance or certainty or conviction, okay? These are not actually, those don't really move away from distractions, but these are like appropriate, words. So the traction is a proposal. It's not really actually there in the dictionary as an opposite to distractions, okay? Now we will see what are the causes. Of course, what we are going to do is just bifurcate into internal triggers, external triggers. Under external, it could also be digital, because these three are bigger elephants, right? You cannot, just unsee or hide away from you. Because when I say big elephant in the room, as in when there is an elephant in the room, you just cannot ignore it. That is how it is. So all distractions cannot be bucketed into a particular domain, because what we go through physiological is different from what we go through psychological. And it is totally different from digital. Am I right or not? So we saw bifurcations about what is internal triggers. That is psychologically. That is happening inside you. So we call it as internal triggers. Which is happening outside you, which you don't have a control of it, because the entire control is not in you. At least the internal triggers has a control in you. So even in internal triggers, when it is physiological, if it's going to be a dis-ease or a disability or inconvenience in the body wise, medically, which may have gone beyond your control, but otherwise your mind chatter and all that, I'm going to give you a big list. You can see, if you want, you can add up. If I have missed out something which is very prominent in any of your lives, you may want to add up. But most of it is all listed here. So it is divided as psychological and physiological. You will see a great distinctions. Physiological is something, it is not entirely in your control, but of course you can bring that into your control as well. But psychological is also in your control. When it comes to external triggers, it is not entirely in your control at all. All you can do is rectify, correct your internal triggers so that you can support and come out of external triggers from yourself. Okay, internal triggers could be, as I said, psychological. It may be boredom. We spoke a lot about boring attitudes, boredom. So how people, including kids, are unable to get away from the boredom, and why it is important to get bored for your brain to inculcate the creativity. And we spoke about how loneliness, it's an extreme situations, okay, which you cannot be helpful about it. And repetitiveness is also something which can bring boredom to it, so that can also be avoided. And so that the rest of the things can be in case you want to be productive, highly focused, the repetitiveness will also become a milestone for you. Successful people are not doing different things different days. They are doing the same thing over and over and over. That is why there is a compounding effect. Okay, so repetitiveness could also be a helping aspect to any of the practices that you want to. Ideally, if you want to become disciplined, consistent, it is repetitiveness it's going to help you. So you may want to look at this as a different perspective from today onwards. Fatigueness, you can't escape. It is bodily as well. But emotional fatigueness is something to do with your mind, because you're drained with your energy and brain power because of others' emotions getting swayed, or your own emotions is, taking you somewhere. You're lost. So you need to look at that. That is why emotional intelligence is also important. How you manage your emotions and how do you manage others' emotions around you is equally important. Okay? Uncertainty, of course, you get the fear of uncertainty is what we are discussing. But uncertainty you cannot avoid. Then how do you handle that? How do you predict it? How do you, I would rather say, regulate it, prepare for uncertainties. That is all that is in our hands, right? Reaction to emotion, we just spoke. Anxiety, family problems. Okay, I think family problems can be external, but then what is it that is giving to you is something that you have to look at. Because of family problems, what are all the inconvenience that you have at your mind level is something that you have to see as an internal triggers. Okay, including too much on your plate. People are greedy. I mean, I was greedy. I had this compulsiveness that For me, everything is important. Of course, everything is important, ideally. But then I learned really, it has taken me this many years to get that. Everybody needs validation. All of us needs validation, right? Some validations come early to some people in their life. The same validation will be delayed and will still not be validated for many people. For example, money aspect, okay, or relationship aspect. Let's take one by one. The importance of money would have come for somebody early in their life. But for certain people, it has still not come. Because of that, their money quotient is not yet to a appropriate level because of those reasons. And the reasons could be many. It could definitely be different. It could be it could deal with the upbringing. It could deal with the genetics. It could deal with lifestyle. It could deal with external factors. But essentially, this is the distinction. So you should not be able to compare with your journey of that of others. All you have to do is make sure you're aware of your patterns and you recognize your patterns very well, whether it is working well for you or not. If it is not, eliminate. If it's working for you, continue it. Okay. So when I was greedy about including all dimensions of life, all people in my life, the only thing left out was burnout, whether it is emotional burnout or physical burnout. Sometimes even financial burnout. When you include so many people, so many commitments come in, and then there are no boundaries at all, you will definitely be wasting your money and resources as well. How many of you have felt it? That is the reason it is very important to have a declutter. I think declutter is a next best topic that we have to discuss in the coming week. I've been coached by international coaches where I would say it's a world-class thing because they're successful in what they're doing, and not just that, they're role models of successful people, rock stars of the world from different industries. So when we eat their brain, right, we get a lot of insights from varied aspects of life. I'm going to be sharing all that. Okay, need to be felt appreciated and felt loved. Well, you cannot avoid it. It's part of our our emotional tank has to be filled. But then, are we keeping it in control or are we overdoing it? Is all you have to see. But need to be appreciated, need to be loved, need to be heard, need to be known. Is all natural. It's like the ability to see, hear, listen, touch, and feel. It's the same thing. But are we overdoing it is something that we have to see. Too many distractions? Yes, that's exactly what we're talking. Chattering mind. Somebody, maybe they are very good, they're talented, they're brilliant outside, but this chattering in the mind is still not stopped. That is the biggest distraction for them. Okay? Self-doubt. You start something and you are doubting yourself. You're not able to complete. So that is a distraction again. Negative thoughts, again. External validation, we just spoke about the needs of emotional needs, physical needs, sometimes insecurity, the mental needs of, you go and sharing and, for what? Actually, either sharing for you to just vent out, or we generally want to make sure that we are not of guilt. We want to make sure that it is okay for us, but we want that from outside, right? I'm not saying it's wrong. It's totally fine. It's totally normal. The only thing that you have to do is what? Not overdo it. You have to make sure your bubble stands here, neither too extreme here, nor extreme here. Okay. All right. And then the fear of future because of uncertainties and the fear of failure too. Fear is a bigger topic. I think we have to deal with fears separately as an internal trigger. We will inject that sometime during the following weeks. Okay. There's a mechanism to it. It is just not fear is a core emotion, right? When we speak about emotional intelligence, we will address all the 6 to 8 core emotions first, and then we will branch out to those other emotions, branching out from the same core emotions. You will know why it is so important. I mean, emotional intelligence is not just about emotions, right? It is also about regulating emotions. That is your choices. How emotions are influencing your choices, thereby your results. How can you be driven by your own emotions so that you're driven to achieve your results? So it's a wonderful topic. Okay, insecurities that is happening, that is known only to you inside. It is not known for others unless you're able to communicate with them. Blaming game, whether we do it internally or through our mouths externally, blame, victim mindset. Perfectionism syndrome. We all have, I had at least. Right now I'm okay with my imperfections. Initially, the reason why certain things delayed in my life is because I wanted to be perfect. And it never ended. It became an endless pit. I continued to be perfect, and then delaying, procrastination happened, and then burnout happens. Addictions, compulsiveness. A lot of people have a lot of compulsiveness. Please watch through. It is not just with the food, sleep, TV, and all that. It is also that those are the main compulsions. Of course, you have to look at your lifestyle. And there's also a lot of pattern compulsions in us, that we are obsessive with a lot of things. Like, we want it only this way. We're so adamant and stubborn, we don't even want to look at the other perspectives, whether it is helping others or not. Or do we have those things which is aligned to our goals, family goals or not? A lot of people don't even have family goals. We don't even have our own goals, right? I mean, I don't know. Mothers don't even have individual goals because we only work based on what family needs. Neither are we worried about what is our future goals, what is it we want to do, or what is it as a family we all want to do. If you have that kind of an alignment, right, that your individual goals is so aligned with your family goals, then your why, when that's where the why is becoming clear. When the why is clear, the how becomes so easy. And imagine, it is not only your how. If the family themselves know what to do, how to do, then it's an easy path. I know it's, then, handling uncertainties, it's a different task. But again, we are handling as a team. We are not alone. You see, there is a lot of deeper aspects coming across. Because we are existing all by ourselves. We think we are all alone. That is why we feel all our, small problems is a big burden. Because we think the entire world, only I'm facing that problem. So you have to break through all that. And then peer pressure, FOMO, fear of missing something, all the time. That is the reason we want to be part of all parties. That is the reason we don't want to miss any vacation. If they have gone, it is important for me to also be gone. Whether we like it, whether we had to spend a lot of money, whether it is necessary or not, everything is blind spot for us because we're missing out something. We should not be doing that. Then when we are told that we are missing out, it is a deep insult for us. We are so sensitive towards a lot of things that we get influenced by others' emotions. Sometimes our own emotions sways away. Adding to that, it is coming from external forces. You see how poor is our, pity on our mind, body, soul, energy, brain power, and talk about resources. How much are we wasting? How much money are we wasting? How much time? Again, not just because we are in the productivity topic that we are talking about time and again, but it is the natural truth, right? We don't look at those things. Okay, super. And then physical, yes, health issues, unhealthy snacks, chores, and all that. Okay. And then external triggers, it's going to be environment, negative people around you, co-worker, neighbors, demanding friendships, cold, humid weather, cluttered space, wardrobe is a big thing. When we talk about decluttering, we'll see how much it is important to keep our wardrobe also decluttered. And then digital, that's a bigger elephant. TV series, social media, phone, news alert, emails, group chat, visual cluttering. That is how you keep your workspace or your kitchen space or the place where you generally work. You spend a lot of time in a day. Okay. And today what we will see is quickly what are those pillars that needs for a human being to be indistractable. First is habits and distractions. Now we elaborately saw what is the distractions. Okay, what are the distractions available? Now what is this habits and distractions? Distractions is formed because of certain habits. Distractions may be existing outside, but it is continued because of our habits and patterns. Okay, your daily habits are a foundation on which you're building who you are, your values, goals, and personality. If you are able to track your daily habits, you may be surprised to see a collection of suboptimal habits. That is, it's of no use. So you may not be reaching your fullest potential because of those suboptimal habits. Okay, those habits which are not supporting you. So you need to be able to take a track of it. I mean, simple things. Before you hit your bed, all you have to do is just take a paper, or that's what I do. My notepad in my phone, I have 3 main apps. One is Notepad, one is school-related apps for my child, another one is about weather and other things. Okay, these things, without these things, I cannot exist. Of course, my Gmail will be there. Social media apps, I think we discussed elaborately in the previous episodes. I had removed all notification. In fact, the apps are not available in my phone. If I have to log in, I'll have to browse through and log in. So which means notifications cannot also come. I removed all my social media apps. What is left out is only about those apps in terms of driving, Google Maps and other things, which are very essential. And the watch related apps or the notes and the school related apps is what I'm relying on. Now, when I take my notepad, you will see how, neatly I've kept a lot of notes. Whatever comes in my mind, it will be under the format of notes, under a few heading, and then it will be inserted under a main heading. So that way I'm practicing my mind to think organized and think deep. If I take one particular topic, let's say productivity topic, and under that, I may have some ideas, running through my mind. Maybe when I'm taking a walk or taking a shower or sitting idly, or even when I'm watching TV, I may have an idea and quickly note down. Okay. So notepad, take your notepad before you hit your bed. All you have to do is from the morning, just 2 hours. Okay. What have you been doing? So the next day, what you do every 2 hours, like from the time when you wake up, let's say 6, and then 6 to 8, what was your activities? How was your, what are those habits which helped you, the patterns that helped you, and it did not help you? Secondly, how do you feel? Now, if you're feeling good, but those habits are not producing enough results, then there is a gap. But if the habits are producing results, but you're not feeling good, that is also a gap. Okay, you need a fulfillment. These are main things. But if the results are not happening, neither you're able to feel good or neither the patterns and habits are working, that is a no-brainer thing that you have to rectify it. Now, after this, if you're able to track your daily habits, you may be surprised to see a collection of suboptimal habits, which you may be reaching your fullest potential with. So once you're able to track every 2 hours, all you have to do is at the night, you're going to just quickly take an audit. Okay, now I'm going to either continue this tomorrow or rectify this. Simple thing. For the next 7 days, if you're able to see, at the end of 7 days, you will exactly see what are those optimal habits, which is giving you an optimal utilization of resources or optimal utilization of time. And your results may not be immediately be, visible as well, but then it will have a compounding effect. So this is called habit tracking. Okay. So this is where you can actually eliminate certain distractions also. When we are saying continue certain habits and rectify certain habits, thereby what we are actually doing is eliminating the distractions. Your distractions, you may not be aware, Maybe from this list that we showed, or it could be something else which is coming up as a distraction for you. That depends on your journey and lifestyle. You may want to take a note of it. Okay. If you can share it in the next episode, wonderful, because we're all, maybe that's just a blind spot yet in me. So you may want to disclose that because your awareness is open for it, right? So that's the best thing, right? So you may want to discuss that with us next week, or put it as a comments in the chat box or the place where we are discussing here. It may be an inspiration for other people as well. And you also have to look at your compulsive patterns. Like I said, for somebody, multitasking is compulsory, because as a mother, it's quite natural for us to work on a lot of things, right? That's when we saw in the deep focus aspect of it as to how the brain itself is a monotasking design. The brain is designed for monotasking only. We are adding, based on our needs and habits, we have added multitasking as a what do you call it? It's a normal norm, but it takes a lot of brain power energy. The main reason for a burnout is multitasking. We discussed a lot during the initial time of productivity calls, where myth and mistakes were spoken about, right? Gadgets will also give you the natural effect of multitasking. Okay, scrolling through social media, and then stress eating, sleeping, stress talking, continuously talking. If you look at your patterns, you will see as to why there is a need to talk. Then you will have to look at your emotional tank. There is a need to be validated, to be vented out. But for somebody, when it's becoming compulsive, that is obsessive, that they just cannot, if you have seen kids, right, the two important things can happen. One, I'm saying two prominent things that you can notice. One, kids with a bunch of group of kids, you can see different kids have different dynamics, different behaviors and mannerisms. But most of the kids cannot sit, tight, cannot sit straight at one place. They'll scroll, they will go around everywhere. If you want to take a picture, they will not be in this, given framework. It's very difficult. You know why? Because the food that they eat. It's a different topic for a different day. But it is very important that those compulsive aspects has to be monitored. It's a similar way. If there are a lot of, especially girls, right? We tend to keep talking. But there are a lot of kids who cannot stop talking. You cannot make them quiet. It's getting impossible. I've been to schools recently, taking a lot of volunteer and PTO roles. It is just not possible. And we were not like this, right? If it's a quiet time, whether there is a punishment or not, if it's a quiet time, it's a quiet time. It is just not possible in these schools. Again, there is a lot of factors to it, but without getting into those factors, what we are right now seeing is it's happening more because of the stress inside, the need for them. If that need and if that energy is satisfied at home or at anywhere, if the energy is spent really well, then the need has become minimized. And imagine if this habit and pattern goes a long way as an adult, it is not possible to mend them at all. That is the reason a lot of nasty conversations happen, a lot of burnout happens, because by speaking, we tend to lose a lot of energy. And by not speaking, we're actually conserving a lot of spiritual power, cosmic energy. That is why in spirituality, most of the time, people will be silent or they will talk minimally, because word powers are more important. The energy spilled through words, through mouth, is more than the energy that we are doing physically. Okay, because the brain power also spent. All right, so you need to know, first of all, what are those compulsive patterns? These are just few patterns, okay? There are a lot of compulsive patterns happening here. Obsession about, no, I want it this way only. In terms of food, or in terms of outlook, in terms of approach of life, in terms of choosing friends or choices, making choices for life. They want it only this way, whereas the family needs a different way, or the society needs a different way, or the work environment needs a different way. For them to come out of their compulsiveness, or for them to be aware of their compulsiveness itself, is taking a lifetime. So all this habit tracking will definitely help you know yourself to yourself. It will reveal yourself to yourself. And we're going to master our internal triggers. How do we master internal triggers? That is, you need to overcome that. You need to learn how your behaviors are driven, assessing yourself, and you need to escape from discomfort. The reason why we are getting compulsive behaviors is because we want more of comfortness. We want to feel comfortable. We don't want to get into any bigger conversation or deeper conversations. We don't want to get into bigger commitments because we don't want to leave the comfort zone. Okay? All behaviors, both attraction and distractions, are prompted by triggers, both internal and external. Internal triggers, cues from within. When our, psychologically also, you may want to look at it. When we feel hungry, the stomach rolls. When we feel tensed, we shake our legs, or our palms sweat. These are some cues where the psychological, physiological cues are blended with internal cues, that is internal triggers, the psychological triggers. So you need to be aware of those. And external triggers are cues based on environment and digital. Environment, another bifurcation is digital, because that's a bigger aspect right now. We've bifurcated that. So distractions, it turns out, is not about distracting thing itself. It's about how we respond to it. I think this is a great deeper aspect, how we respond. It is not just about trigger itself. It's about how we respond, as in, that is the reason how respond in the sense, either we continue to do it or we get rid of it. We eliminate it or we come out of it. That's the only way you can do it. You cannot actually be managing it. You either take a black or white. That's all possible. Being in the gray itself is a big distraction. That means they're not clear. They're not distinctive enough. Now, handling the distraction. If you're having the right kind of awareness, having a tracking mechanism, then you should look at the discomfort that precedes the distraction, focusing on the internal trigger. That's exactly what I said. Suppose you want to scroll through social media, right? You felt something and you end up watching your social media app. Now you want to look at the discomfort that made you scroll through. If you remember the internal triggers that we discussed, psychological, is it boredom that caused you take your mobile? Or is it that repetitiveness in the work that again gives you some indication, okay, let's distract? Or is it the loneliness that happens that you don't have anybody to talk? When you're in the group, you're naturally bound to take your mobile. Or is it something that you're anxious, that you don't want to, display your insecurities to others, so you want to take it? Or you want to distract yourself from the, if you're very jittered about people around you, if you see those who enjoy the gatherings, those who enjoy the people energy, or anybody who's joyful, right? They will not pick up their gadgets. They want to be physically, emotionally, mentally involved. The reason why we pick up our gadgets, because the reason why I'm always talking about digital distraction is because that is the biggest elephant for any, whether it's kid or adult. Just start noticing, because last week we spoke in detail about how pathetic to notice even the adults, even the elderly adults, they have at least minimum 2 gadgets. So there are no conversations happening. Forget about deeper conversation. That is impossible because they don't have time. There are a lot of busy things. There are a lot of attractive things happening in the YouTube and all the social media ads. Why would I want to spend time talking about something, deep and putting myself into discomfort because I may have to confront because my ideas are different and I don't have time. I'm in a rush. I'm losing out a lot of stuff. My friends may be posting something. I want to know where they went. The fear of missing out something, right? So look out for all that and then write down that particular trigger. Explore your negative sensations happening within the body and your mind level with curiosity instead of contempt. Instead of, being harsh on yourself, beating up yourself, just raise a question. Oh, really? If you have a screen time app, I think it's inbuilt in all the mobiles right now. You may want to look at it, but it may not give you a deeper readings about each and every app or, in general, but it can give you a broader aspect about what's your screen time. You may want to, work on it to reduce the screen time, at least in the initial time. And you might want to look at the negative sensation that your mind and body gives you whenever you want to do those distractive patterns, the habits. And then raise it with a curiosity. Oh, really? Am I doing this? Let me, explore more. I want to know, why did I do that? Is there a need? Was there a vent out? Was that insecurity? Was that just the heck of it because I don't have anything else to do? Or is it like I don't want to move around, so I have nothing else to do. The power is not there, so I only have my mobile. Or I'm anxious to talk to somebody, so I end up watching my mobile. Those are something that you have to look at it. Be extra cautious, during those moments when you're transition from one activity to another. The reason why this is put is because we don't want you to do it. Nothing is going to happen overnight. None of the results in the world, for none of the people, whoever is successful, has gotten overnight results. If it is happening, then it is not sustainable. So we want a sustainable growth. For that, you need to constantly be curious and conscious also. Don't beat yourself up from, when it is working for you, even for you to continue, don't pressurize yourself too much in that area. You just leave it like that, the same way how it is helping you. You may want to be a little more curious about, okay, suppose I add an extra responsibility to that area where I'm really good at. Will I be able to handle it? Without causing much effect about other priorities or emotionally, physically, there is no drained out. You may want to, gradually increase. Similarly, those areas which is not working, and for you to make it work, you're going to start something. Don't be so harsh. Instead, you can simplify your goals into tasks and then, gradually break down the task actually in terms of timelines or in terms of severity of the task, and then see how you're able to go through it. Okay, this way you can handle your distractions. Adjusting your vision is also important, because I kept on saying, if your why is clear, why you're doing what you're doing, then the how is becoming easier. Okay, when the how is becoming easier, then it is easy to see what we can do. Anyway, now I'm ready to do because I know what I'm supposed to do. Now, what are we doing? What can we doing? So those things are all called techniques, hacks, and other things. That can be, you can either search for Google, YouTube, or you can check for somebody, or sessions like this will give you the hacks. That is the reason hacks, techniques, tips and all are given to you at the last session, the last section of the topics. Because for you, for us is more important is the principle, the concept, which is everything. Once the awareness is clear, then we are only going to build the capacity to fill the gaps from here to there, your result area, your destination. And then how we're doing that, what are we doing, what are we applying on it, it can change from time to time or lifestyle to different lifestyle. The journey is different. So based on that, we're going to pick up the hacks and techniques. That is on the last side. Okay. So you're adjusting your vision is also important. Yes, you know your why very clear. You have your vision board, you have everything written, it's in print, and then it's imprinted here, and then your goals are also aligned. But sometimes you need to adjust your vision also, because there was a pandemic, and then you just cannot go out. We were not allowed to go out. We were not allowed to do the normal day-to-day activities. You cannot bog down your head and then say, I want to go out, I want to do because my why is more important. No. We had to adjust. Everybody in the world, we had to adjust our vision and do what is possible for us. Okay, so we can change the way we see ourselves to get rid of self-limiting beliefs. If we believe we are short on willpower and self-control, then we will be. If we decide we are powerless to resist those temptations, it becomes true as well. If we tell ourselves we are deficient by nature, we believe every word. The reason is how you think, so you become. And why we have to adjust our vision is because it is important that we consider we are aware of what is happening around us and what is happening within us. And all we are doing is building the congruence. Only when there is an alignment, then we are not beating ourselves up. If it is not, then either your compulsiveness is acting on it, or your blind spot about a lot of things. If there is a pandemic, you just cannot walk outside. If it is raining heavily, you just cannot walk outside without umbrella. If it's sunny, you need to wear your sunblock. Okay, you cannot say, I can brave it. Those adjustment is also important. How you believe here and how you tell your willpower, is something that we discussed a few days back. And I think we will discuss this more about in the decluttering area, where environment is stronger than your willpower. This is the breakthrough that I got recently. It's a realization. It's not a breakthrough, but it's more of a education realization. I have to surrender to it because that's how it is. World of distractions. Environment. Remember, environment also has digital and people around you, things around you, what you have built, your space. It involves people. It involves, lifestyle. It involves materialistic. It also involves about your emotional aspects to it. You need to be aware of it because you're building your willpower, your brain power based on those, what you've built. And if those are going to slash you down, naturally your inner willpower will also get slashed down. And for you to get aligned with your vision, it is even more important. Otherwise, you become powerless. Making time for traction. Okay. Now, how do we do this? Because it is important to reevaluate what are the things that are important to you, to time box your schedule, to make sure you follow through and get in sync with everyone else. It is also important. The next week, what we will do, we will see in detail about how, now that we know list of distractions, we will see how can we eliminate that and how can we consider a few of them to support in our journey so that we are building a traction towards our goals. Okay. So being indistractable is largely about making sure time for traction each day and eliminating the distraction that keeps you from living the life you want, which keeps you living from the why. If you're living on purpose, if you're living on why, then it is meaningful. Whatever you're doing, you're not going to stress about it. Even if you're going to work overtime, you'll not feel stressed. You remember I said, you have to also feel what you're doing is fulfilling or not. Eventually, it'll beat you up. You may be very productive. You may be, because of the repetitiveness or because of the expertise that you've got, you may be very productive. You may be completing your task, much earlier than the others, or you're getting excellent in that particular thing. But are you doing it on autopilot or auto response mode? So that is more important. Okay, planning your time with intention is all the more critical. That is what is intentional living, intentional choices. Even if you choose to spend it scrolling through, the headlines or reading a novel, after all, the time you've already planned to waste is not wasted time. This is exactly what I said. Consider the feeling that you're going through. If your emotions, your feeling is also, if you have the ability to first of all label the emotion that you're feeling, that is another topic. If I ask you to label what you're feeling right now, we will end up only choosing the core emotions, either happy, sad, bored. I mean, bored is not a core, but then bored will come. Angry, fearful. All those are all core areas, right? The other rest of the emotions are all branch out of these core areas, but we won't be able to name many of them. The reason is we're not taught so. Emotional literacy is not a subject at all in our education. So we're going to see all that in the emotional intelligence topics. Okay, so you will start considering the feelings of it also. Whatever you're doing, are you intentionally doing? If your choices are intention based on your feelings and thoughts and goals, then you are naturally living in your why, and it is so fulfilling for you. Okay, even if you are actually wasting time, it is not actually a wasted time because you may have some intentions towards it. You may feel that okay, this is my me time. Okay, it's okay. I just kept away everything. I just for the heck of it, just kept staring at the wall. It is still okay because you know why? Because I had the time of just being with myself in that me time zone. Okay. All right. So handling back external triggers is also something that we have to, see, because hack back external triggers by removing unused apps is, one of the hacks that we did by removing notifications. You can go to your settings of any phone. There is a notification tabs. You may want to disable that so that it removes you off from all the notifications from any apps, provided you're not, keeping it for your personal, the kids related things, which is more important. So that can be used on computer. Yes, I log into onto my computer in terms of me uploading videos or images into my social media app instead of doing it from my phone. I used to be doing everything from my phone. And I realized the burnout is happening more from the phone. Then I switched on to my computer. By reducing the visual clutter and adjusting notification settings from each app. Unwanted external triggers hamper your productivity and diminish your well-being as well. While technology, companies use like phones to hack our behaviors, external triggers are not confined to our digital devices at all. Not just digital devices. They're all around us, from cookies beckoning. I mean, you never know the cookies that follows us. It is actually giving our patterns to bigger aspects of politics, conspiracies. The algorithm keeps building, and then it will show you what you exactly wanted in your mind, not even spoken out, but it'll show you, and then it becomes a distraction for yourself. So new things are getting built without our knowledge. So when we open the kitchen cabinet to a chatty co-worker keeping us away from finishing a time-sensitive product, yeah, that is more important. At offices, yes. And then the top contenders for people at work are usually that way. And even most of us are using the productivity apps, right? Even for a general life when we are at home as a homemaker, may not necessarily be on office emails, but then I'm constantly on my emails. I mean, although I'm doing an online business, my school correspondence or anything and everything here is full of appointments, right? So I should be on top of my emails. So emails, group chat, meetings, smartphones, computer desk, online articles, and all that feed are all interruptions. Okay. All right. So now for the next 10 minutes or so, blocking out distractions and the pacts is what we can see. Okay. So the last step to become indistractable involves preventing ourselves from sliding into distractions. So to do so, we must learn a powerful technique called recommitment. The reason why I put this is because this is a learning for myself. I thought once I was so harsh on myself. It's just that I don't have this awareness. We don't have, constantly cannot get somebody tapping on our shoulders and then coaching ourselves, right? We should be our self-coach, for which we should be aware of it. All these learnings, when I had to structure this, right, I had a wonderful learning time when I was back in India. I had 3 months time of very little distraction, and that's when this product happened. I think this is one of the best things that I did for myself and for people like you. I could really pick up the ones which is useful and then was able to put it in a mind map like this. I think mind map is also a great productivity tool. At least it is for me for the last 4 years. It organized my thoughts. It's a great decluttering tool. And when we deliver, it's very easy for the other person to receive it, right? Because it is all like condensed information, bullet points, branching out from one main topic to subtopics and others. So coming to recommitment, what I did was, when I thought I do not have this habit, and it is, that is the main bigger elephant, and then that's the main reason for my distractions, and that is the reason for my results not being achieved. Immediately, my emotions take over. Instead, I did not know how to go back, and then I know the principle of, okay, we will eliminate that and we will continue what is working, and then we will build new habits. But unless you touch the root cause, right, the emotional cause of it, because we saw in the other day that all your physical illness is based on there is a root cause of your emotions. There should be some core emotion which is actually causing the physical illness. Similarly to this, you need to address the emotional aspect to it and then recommit yourself, both emotionally, mentally, physically. So the aspect of recommitting was suddenly, the word itself is like it's a great wisdom for me. Oh, okay, I can recommit. So which means I'm not yet gone. I'm not yet quit. I'm still in the commitment. It's just that I got distracted somewhere and I want to recommit to it. So which involves removing a choice in the future to overcome our impulses in the present. That is, it's a very deep thing. Okay. Recommitment means you're aware of your distractions. You are not, because you're already burnt. Once burnt is lesson learned. You're aware of your distractions and you're eliminating that at all from your life. Okay. And then you're recommitting to also make sure that comfort zone is not again causing you to get into the distraction zone, which means you're ready for the discomfort. I'm going to be, also bringing this dopamine effect. I think we discussed a brief about this in the last week. How we always stimulate or look for those stimulations, dopamine effect, whenever we get stressed or when it comes to productivity, that you need to get into the deep focus, right? Whenever we want to start something, we know it is important. We know we have to commit, but we're still not doing. The reason for procrastination is we know that. But then between the reason for procrastination and getting committed, there's a lot of struggle happening. We always seek out for dopamine effect. That is the reason we either call a friend or simply talk for this, went out or take validation, and then taking validation, doing nothing again. Or we go for a stress eating, pick out the junk food and eat, or stress talking, or stress sleeping. I had this pattern. Really, when there is a stress, I found myself that during the traumatic events, not during the, it's not a low anxiety events that I'm talking about, but I cultivated this because of certain extreme situations in my life, in different parts of life. I tend to go and sleep. And then what happened is, now those patterns are not yet gone away from me, because the body actually, remembers that, and it finds soothing effect in that pattern. It's so very strong that it is still not over for me. Even if there is any slight stress coming, even today, I tend to go and eat or tend to go and sleep because the body struggles to break through. So I found this pattern. and it demands a dopamine. It can simply be a coffee. Taking coffee is also, the caffeine can also be a stimulation, or watching something, or watching a mobile, of course, talking to somebody, or stepping out for a walk is a good thing. Contemplation with nature is a good thing. So I have a list of things that those are all good things. There's also a list of negative things, which will give you a negative consequence. It may be a booster for you at that point of time, for you to come back and work. If I have a coffee, I get stimulation, and then I'll come back and work. Okay. For me to recommit, I was choosing those dopamine effect, which is again something that I found out because I was able to track my habits. So the recommitment started happening. But then for me to recommit, I chose the not so supportive stimulation. You see, it may be overwhelming for you, to look at a lot of things. But then when you start tracking it, right, when you start recognizing your patterns, I think it'll be easy thing for us. By the time we get used to it, and then it'll be very quick for us. It's not a particular task that I have to start writing and spending more my brain power into it. No, it becomes a natural thing for you, and then you're becoming aware. High level of awareness is built in you about yourself. Don't you think you will have a same habit of reading those patterns in others also? So when you have awareness about both yourself and others, that is exactly what emotional intelligence is all about. Would you not be able to handle the situations around you well? Because situations is created mostly by you and people around you. And if your awareness is at peak, that is the best foundation. That's the starting foundation for you to handle bigger things in your life. Regulating those things and then directing those energy, emotions, results to channelizing into a particular thing. So recommitment, or the last line of defense, preventing us from sliding into distraction. Okay, you should only use this after the one of the 3 Indistractable strategies have been applied. You see, it is very important that you need to be aware of your internal triggers. You need to handle them. I would not say master them, but handle them. Okay, brave it and handle your external distractions. Adjust your vision. Make time for distraction. First of all, make a list. I'm going to be giving you all those. We will do an energy audit. We will do a champion ideal practices. So this is what I have done for myself. As for the next 100 days, this is my ideal practices. So when I have this in my hand, I must have gone through a lot of list of eliminations and thought process have been put, a lot of emotions have been put here. More than that, distinctions have been laid out very clearly. This is what is helping me and this is not helping me. What is helping me, I've divided that into physical, emotional, mental, business, digital, spiritual aspects. Based on that, I have cultivated ideal practices on a day-to-day basis for the next 100 days so that I complete one of my main goal or 2 or top 3. And my goals are, so that I approach my goals or I conduct my goals or I achieve my goals in a way that I'm not in a distractive world every day. It is not boggling me, rather it is supporting me. My practices have to support me to achieve the goals. For me, more than the destination or the goals, for me, the ideal practices is a big thing every day, is my why every day. More than the larger goal, my ideal practices is my daily why every day. So when I complete this thing, at the end of the day, I'm fulfilled. Because it is not just like that tick mark. Or it is not just like that, put it in a paper and stuck in the wall. I need to literally work on it. If I don't work, I'll be honest to say I've not worked. That means I've done harm to myself. So I need to recommit the next day and then start working and reduce the dopamine effect. It could be, I told you, dopamine effect could be many, areas that we are seeking comfort zone. So we have to slowly eliminate that. And then thereby, when you're able to achieve your goals because of your ideal practice, you're a champion by yourself. Okay. How many of you are excited to know this? So we will see that next week, and we will also see what are the pacts. That is, pacts is nothing but agreements, and it will even be relatable when we see the decluttering aspects tomorrow. When we have the decluttering and recommitment in ourselves, that time when we have some agreements, rules, I think that will definitely elevate what we want to build as an ideal practices. Okay, so I hope you had a good, lot of takeaways today. I want you to go back to the group or in the comment box. Just let me know what top 3 things that you took away from today's lessons, today's episode and our discussions, and what is it you want to work on it. When it comes to applying in your day-to-day life, remember that 10, 24, 7 keys. When you're able to work on it as immediately, when you're able to recall those things, it is definitely going to reinstate in your life. And I'm sure you might want to share this, apply this first of all, and if it's working, you might want to share this with your family members. It could be your kid, or it could be your spouse, it could be your friends, it could be any normal mother, your mother friends. When you're talking to them, feel free to invite them to this community calls. There is an entry that is available through a link, or you can still share your learnings, okay, your 1 or 2 tips that really worked for you, and keep working on it. Keep working for yourself. That is more important. First, self-development is important, and when you have the results in you, naturally people will look at you, will get inspired. Okay, be that inspiration for somebody. Until I see you in the next week, take care.